Okay, so about an hour ago, there were confirmed nerfs. We don't know exactly what's going to be nerfed or buffed, but we know what's going to get hit. And this is a really big patch. In total, they're going to be 14 cards reworked, buffed, banned, or redesigned. So first, we have 5 nerfs, and it's to Warlock, Shaman, and Demon Hunter. I don't know what they would nerf in Demon Hunter. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit weirded out by that, unless it's something targeting Wild, because I think Demon Hunter is fine. I think it's a fairly high skill cap class, and yes, maybe the quest or some of the draw could be nerfed, or the 6/7 Brute could be nerfed to become a 6/6, but as far as things go, I would have rather seen maybe a nerf to Mage or something like that, because like I said before, I went 18-4 with Mage. So, I don't know. I could have seen, I understand the nerf to Demon Hunter. It's weird though. Probably Brute, exactly. It's either, I don't know why they would nerf the quest. That wouldn't make sense. Unless they make you have to draw 5 cards for the first part of your quest and make it just 5/5/5. I don't know. Shaman, there are a lot of things they could potentially nerf in a Shaman. There's a lot of really efficient, overload cards right now. They could nerf Charged Call and make it 4 mana. They could nerf any number. They could nerf the quest itself, so that way the first reward isn't so game breaking. Like the first reward, if you combo after a Perpetual Flame or a Lightning Bloom, is so much mana gain that it can win you the game like that with the amount of tempo you gain. So there are a lot of things, mostly overload cards I could see them targeting with Shaman. So I think it's gonna be 1 nerf to Demon Hunter, probably the Brute. 1 nerf to Shaman, maybe 2, but my guess is 2 nerfs to Warlock as well. So I think it goes 2-2-1. And Warlock will probably, there's so many things that they can nerf in Warlock. Like if we just go to Warlock real quick, I could see them nerfing Raise Dead, but that would also be a nerf to Priest, and Priest isn't on this list, so I don't think they'll target a dual class card. They could nerf that. They could nerf, you know, Backfire. They could nerf, what's it called? Because draw 3 cards for 3, they can make it draw 2 cards and deal 3, because it makes your quest a little bit better. They could nerf the Mithril Rod. They could nerf Flesh Giant again. They could nerf any form of removal, like the touch of what's it called? Nathrazim. They can make it deal 1 damage to heal 4, or deal 2 damage to a minion. If it dies, restore 2 or 3 health. They could nerf Tamsin a little bit, make her 4 mana, because the amount of value they get out of her is insane. There's a lot of stuff they can do to the Warlock class. I don't fully know what they're going to do, but I would like them to focus on one thing or another. Focus on damage output, focus on mana cheat, or focus on removal. I feel like nerfing one of each thing would still make it very, very good, but if you nerf 2 cards of one thing, like 2 removal cards, Touch of Nathrazim and Drain Soul, for instance, it would give it a glaring weakness that could be exploited, as opposed to one of each category, which will still remain pretty strong, in my opinion. Redesign Priest, probably Mind Render or Lucia, would be my guess. 0 mana Flesh Giant, nerf to 0 mana, no. But I don't know, Priest, if we're looking at the cards, the card that would need a redesign the most would probably be Mind Render or Lucia, or the redesign is going a different direction and they're redesigning the quest to make it better. Or maybe have to do something different, which I think would be an interesting way to take a redesign. Redesigning a card that, rather than to make it worse, redesigning a different card to make it more fun and better. But I think it's gonna be Mind Render or Lucia, would be my guess. A banned card to Warlock, I don't know what they would ban. Of the cards I said needed to be nerfed in Warlock, any one of those cards could also be the banned card, or this is a banned card for Wild. They haven't really talked about it much, but for sure this could be a banned card for Wild only, would maybe be my guess. And then we have the 7 buffs. Okay, I would just like to say here right now, Hunter does not need a buff. It's already a top 4 class, above a 50% win rate. However, because of the picture right here, because of the picture showing Selective Breeder, I am okay with the buff. because this buff to this hunter card doesn't buff normal hunter. It doesn't buff face hunter. No. This buff is gonna buff decks like Blood Herald Hunter, where you're gonna be making copies of beasts in order to generate extra value. And my guess is they're gonna make them a 2-mana 2/2, maybe even a 2-mana 2/3, because a 2-mana 1/1, you lose so much tempo that it's basically not even worth playing it. But it's gonna buff Token Blood Herald. It's gonna buff Rat King. It's gonna buff OTK. It's gonna buff all the fun hunter decks. I don't know if I run it in Guardian Animals Hunter, I don't, but it's gonna buff all the fun hunter decks. So I am okay with this buff to hunter if it's just selective breeder. Next, we have Mage. I don't know what they're gonna buff to Mage because I think Quest Mage is already ridiculously strong. So strong that I would have considered it something they should have nerfed. Because again, I'm 18-3 with that deck. But whatever. Nerf looks to slow things down. I'll talk about this in a second because these are more speculation. Buffs look to at recent archetypes that didn't hit as well as we want, and a mix of light and medium changes. Exactly. So, Selective Breeder pushes other things. Mage, because we read this, it makes me believe that they're gonna buff Hero Power Mage or Fire Spell Mage. Both of those two could be good, and I genuinely think that both those archetypes should hit or should be a little bit more in the meta. And with some of the nerfs that come out, there will be other decks that will come into the meta that were previously maybe a little bit too weak, like Evolve Shaman. If they nerf other Shaman decks and redesign some stuff, maybe Evolve Shaman will take advantage of the meta then. And then we have Warrior. It's obviously gonna be all the control tools. It's going to be so many control tools. I could see them changing so much. They could be changing, or buffing rather. Maybe, I guess they'd try to focus on newer cards. I don't know why I selected one only. But Armor Smith, to bring that into the meta, or back into the meta, I guess. They could be buffing, where is it? The new tradable card. What is it? Heavy Plate, maybe make it gain more armor, cost a little bit less, do something extra with that. I'm not sure, because it had a lot of potential. They could be buffing Rancor, to maybe gain more armor per enemy destroyed. They could be buffing maybe something a little bit later game as well to try to get some extra armor in there, maybe like Scrap Golem or Shield Maiden. There are a lot of directions they could go with this to make Control or Big Warrior, because they could also buff some of the Big Warrior minions. They could focus on that as well. So overall, Warlock, I hope they focus on, just TLDR, focus on one thing. They focus on the mana cheat, the control, or the card draw, but I don't think they should focus on a little bit of everything, because it'll still be good at a lot of stuff. Quest Hunter doesn't need a buff. No, I actually don't think Quest Hunter needs a buff. I'm like 9-4 with Quest Hunter. It does a lot, it has a lot of damage output. I will admit though, okay, if they do want to buff Quest Hunter a little bit more, it would be okay if they buff Warrior and Quest Control Priest come into the meta a little bit more. Then I could see a Quest Hunter buff being warranted. But I don't think that's the direction they're going to be going. But if they do, great. I actually like Quest Hunter as well. But yeah, Warlock, I hope they focus on one category as opposed to all of them. Shaman, they're probably gonna lower the efficiency of an overload card or two, maybe make their mana more, maybe make them a little bit less effective. And Demon Hunter, probably the Brute. Priest, probably Mindrender, Lucia, maybe the Quest. The ban for Warlock, my assumption would be Wild, and it might even be the Quest in Wild. Or the Crystallizer, because it deals 5 damage, and it's a huge way to get damage in Wild. And then the buffs, archetypes being pumped are going to be ones that are seen as more memey now, but after they're buffed might actually be meta. Like Fire Mage, Hero Power Mage, all of the beast-based hunters, and Control and Big Warrior. So I'm actually very excited for all of these buffs and changes. I want to hear what you guys think about them as well. This happened about an hour ago. So yeah, for all of you guys who want to comment, do so. If you guys want to talk about this more on Twitch, I'm probably still streaming at the point of this video going live, so you guys can talk to me there as well, and I will see you guys later today when I post my actual gameplay video. Hey, YouTube!